Hey, I'm Dr. Giuseppe Paladini, and this is video 2 of the series of 2 videos. So if you haven't checked the first interview with Samuel Leeds, go and check it out. It's just down there. Samuel, let's say you go back in time now. You go back to your when you were 17 years old, when you started out in property. What advice would you give to your 17 years old Samuel Leeds?
I would just say don't listen to the doubters, or don't question yourself. And I mean, listen, when I was 20 and I had quite a few properties by the age of 20, there were so many people that started doubting not just my strategies, but at first people will say, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Then people will say, well, we'll see what happens. Then people will say, money isn't everything, Then people will say, you changed. You're not who, like, don't listen to any of it. Mm-hmm. I was like thinking, oh man, at first I was worried because people said, be careful, be careful, be careful. If there's a crash, properties are going down. So, and it's in the back of my mind. Don't get me wrong. Thank God I was listening to good people, had good mentors, but it's there. It was like a bit of a black cloud. Like, oh, wait, are they right? And then, okay, you were going on about being careful. Now I own 4 houses. But then it's, oh, well, we'll see what happens. And it's like, it's there. So now, if I was advising my 17-year-old self, I would just say, don't even listen to it. Yeah. Just do what you need to do, and don't listen to anybody that isn't in a position where you'd want to trade places with them. Yeah. People spend so much time taking advice from people who are bums.
And then there are the silent observers, right? Those people that don't say anything to you, but they follow your steps. They see what you're doing. It says, let's see how it goes, and then I'll make a move. But they never make a move, right? Because that's the point of taking action. Taking action is when you take action when you're uncomfortable, not when you're comfortable. That's the way to grow. Okay, so another question is, who was your first mentor in property?
My first mentor in property was a guy called Simon Zushi.
Yeah.
And Simon, was really helpful, really helpful, good heart. In fact, it surprised me that someone who was a millionaire in property actually had the time to spend 45 minutes on the phone to a 17-year-old kid who had no money, who had no property, nothing, so that also gave me confidence. I'm like, well, if Simon Zushi, who's a millionaire and in property, he's telling me like, oh, you don't need to be doing a job or doing this. You can, and the fact that he believed in me. Now, don't get me wrong. There's many people that believed in me as well. Some great people around me, but the fact that serious people believe who are successful, who've made it, were saying I can do the same too, and actually believed in me, almost made me believe in me. And that's one of the reasons why now I deliberately try and spend time with people who, might not have lots of money. They might not be, but I will try and see myself in other people. And I'm that guy, that wants to believe in other people, because I know how much of a difference it made to me when Simon did that. So he was my first official, property mentor. Mm-hmm. It depends how you define mentor. People can. I mean, I would describe Jim Rohn as my mentor.
Me too. Yeah.
I never met Jim Rohn. He died, I think, 2000. I think he died around about 2008. I think he died. But I listened to thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of Jim Rohn in my car. So my little Ford Ka, when I was a teenager, I turned it into like a mini university. Mm-hmm. I just constantly listened to audio CDs, people that are successful, people that are sharing their knowledge and their mistakes. I would just listen to them in the car and let their philosophy become my philosophy, because I wanted what they had.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I was the same. I told my wife, I don't want to listen to the radio anymore because music is not giving me any money. I want to listen to audiobooks or, finance books and property books. Amongst all the strategies in property, what is your favorite?
I don't have a favorite strategy. And I'll tell you why. Because I think that would be like asking a builder or a workman, what's your favorite tool? Mm-hmm. depends on the job that needs fixing, right? If I want to bang a nail in, my favorite tool is a hammer, but I might need a spanner, or I might need a paintbrush. It just depends on what I'm trying to do. So the way I see property is, you've got lease option agreements, you've got deal packaging, you've got property development, buy, refurbish, refinance, HMOs. It just depends. I don't see myself, I mean, I say this to people, I'm like, look, what you want to do, rather than saying, people say to me, I'm looking for a lease option agreement. I say, you shouldn't look for a lease option agreement. What you should do is you should go and speak to people who own properties and say, how can I help? Oh, and by the way, I got this toolbox. So in terms of strategies, I don't have a favorite strategy. Neither do I have one or two. I have many strategies, and my favorite just is depending on what's most valuable and what's going to solve the problem for the situation at hand. You know, so I mean, I'll tell you this though: the thing that made me a millionaire was actually, believe it or not, was packaging and selling deals. That made me a millionaire. So I guess you could say, you know, I guess it's not which one I like most, but made me a millionaire. Now, today, I make most of my money by a mile in property development. Yeah. Because one big deal will make more profit than 100 small deals. Yeah. So that's where I'm making money. I like it. It's clean. It's nice. But I mean, even in development now, it's like when you say which strategy, I just secured a development deal a couple of weeks back. It was on a lease option, piece of land secured on an option agreement. So I'm planning on building some houses and stuff there. But that was one of the strategies, one of the tools that I needed for the job was lease option. So thank God for lease options.
Yeah, but that's the point, right? Because you have all these strategies, they interlock with each other. It's not like a clear strategy alone. You need to know about business structure. You need to know about commercial, even if you do service accommodation, because service accommodation is part of commercial, but then you need to know rent to rent.
Giuseppe, that's it. It's like saying, what's your favorite ingredient of a cake? Yeah. Do you like the flour? Do you like the milk? I just want to eat the cake. And to eat the cake, I need to have all the ingredients. And you're absolutely right. I think this is a really important part of what people need to know is that if let's say you're saying, I want to do rent to rent. It's like, well, hold on a minute. You want to do rent to rent? Well, then you're going to need to understand HMOs or service accommodation or both. Yeah. Right. And also, when you're doing rent to rent, you're probably going to come across some people where they might be up for selling as well, where you're going to want to do a lease option agreement. You know, so, or you might speak to some landlords, or you might get some rent to rents that don't quite work for you. And then you go, you know what, I'll sell them. Well, that's deal packaging now. Yeah. Everything links. Yeah, absolutely.
So a beginner, complete beginner, is coming to you and says, Samuel, I know already the answer, but I'm curious. Samuel, I'm keen to start in property. I have no clue whatsoever. What would you suggest me?
I would suggest start small. Start with small steps. If you're climbing a mountain, you have to take one step to begin with. Now, that one step might be watching your podcast, right? It might be having a coffee with someone who's been in property for 3 years and saying, hey, how's it going? Or it might be going to a networking event, or it might be, you know, having a conversation with your mortgage advisor and seeing how much equity you could release in your house. You know, but just take a small step. Don't necessarily. And another thing I'll say, if you want to get started into property, is take massive action, but not with things where you're about to sign something. Now, here's what I mean by that. Like, okay, the people get mixed up because motivational speakers talk about massive action, go crazy, right? Now, don't get me wrong, you need that. You need massive action. However, with property is a people business, but it's also a numbers business. It's a numbers game, and there's a lot of due diligence that's needed in property. If you buy a bad house, it can screw you up. If you have a bad tenant, it can screw you up. So I think it's about taking mad action with things where like I always look at best case, worst case, likely case. If the worst case is I'm going to go bankrupt, I'm not doing it. So take massive actions, but with the small things. And then by the time it comes to the big things, you'll be in a situation whereby you'll be able to make a better informed decision. I mean, people want to buy a castle just because I have a castle. I want to buy a castle. or I want to, and it's like, hold on a minute. I was in property for 10 years before I bought a castle. You know, I knew what I was doing when I bought a castle. Now, don't get me wrong, I was uncomfortable. It was stretching me. It was bigger than me. But, and again, I'll say a big deal is way more lucrative than a small deal, but it's just the same amount of effort. And then everyone's like, oh, I want to do big deals. It's like, well, again, hold on. You're going to make mistakes on your first deal. You will. So you're better off. So to answer your question, if someone's saying, how do I get started? Get started, take massive action, but start small and build your way up to doing really big things. That's probably what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And educate. Because
again, I'll say that as well. Again, the best investment is not property. The best investment is you. So before you start investing a lot of money into, and people don't want to spend money. And listen, I know I have an education company. You don't have to invest in my education company. You can do it with somebody else. It doesn't matter. But people don't want to spend £200 on getting a little bit of a consultation or going on a course, which is going to teach them a strategy. But then they're going to end up spending £20,000 on the lesson. So you can either pay for your mistakes or you can pay for somebody else's mistakes in form of education. I would advise the latter every time.
Yeah, totally. And for the complete beginners, I think the main problem, the main hurdle, let's say, is the mindset in taking the first step. Because as I say, it's not their fault. The school taught you that. The society taught you that money is bad. So everything taught you that it's too risky to do anything. So that is probably the main hurdle for everybody that wants to get started in any project.
Everybody wants to spend less and earn more.
Yeah.
But if you want to do a strategy like rent to rent, you actually have to spend more because, and one of the things I've noticed with some of my students is they'll be like, I don't want to they'll want to rent to rent because they want the money, they want the income. But then when they go to sign it, they'll suddenly realize, oh man, if I sign this rent to rent, my outgoings are going to go up. I'm going to have to commit to paying £700 a month to this landlord. I don't want to do that. But what you got to remember is, as an entrepreneur, firstly, you have to take risks, right? That's the definition of an entrepreneur. Someone that takes risks in the hope to make a profit. So although you're going to be spending more, you're actually going to be getting more. And I think people hold on to money too tightly. What you need to remember is with money, you've got to let money flow through you, and you've got to be a reservoir rather than a pond. If you're a pond and you just save money and put it in the bank, you're never going to get rich. You have to spend money to get money. So it's the same with property, being a property entrepreneur, being a property investor, being a business owner. You have to let money flow through you if you want to really accumulate a lot of wealth.
Yeah, I agree. The way I see it, the way I explain as well in webinars is education is like a tool. When you want to dig for diamonds, to look for diamonds, do you dig with bare hands or do you buy a tool for that? It's obvious the answer. You buy a tool because you're spending money on the tool because you're focusing on the results, on the diamonds. So exactly the same with property. You need to focus on the results rather than on the cost of the tool. That's the way I see education.
Bang on.
Right, Samuel, looking to the future, we are towards the end of this interview. What projects are in the pipeline for you?
A lot of projects in the pipeline. So we just completed a few weeks ago on a piece of land in Leeds, and we're currently trying to get planning permission on that to build an apartment block. So it's going to be 5 apartments, 2 bedrooms each. The gross development value on that should be just over £1 million. So that's going to make us around about £400,000 profit, assuming that it comes off the plan, which is great. We've done quite a few of those types of deals, which has been really exciting. I've been doing lease options on land, packaging up options and then getting planning permission and gaining from the planning. Built 6 houses in a joint venture partnership in Lincoln, which again made really good profit. So I think some of the things that the critics say about me is that I am stealing the houses. Right? Honestly, the lady that did a video about me, it went viral. It had almost 1 million views on social media, and she was saying that this guy Samuel Leeds is robbing the houses off the poor by buying up all these houses up north. And whilst I disagree with her point, because how can you be stealing a property by buying it? It's nuts. But at the same time, I get a real satisfaction from building and restoring houses as opposed to just accumulating. So I think in terms of where I'm going in the next you know, my plan over the next sort of 6 to 12 months or so, I want to have, by the end of the year, I want to have 10 sites, which development sites. At the moment, I've got 3. So I want to get that 10 by the end of the year. And also just keep inspiring people, enjoy every moment. I was out today. I was just out in the garden in the sunshine. I was working out, getting an endorphin release, getting some vitamin D. I just thought, you know what? Sometimes it's good to have goals and it's good to set targets and everything. But I think it's also really important, you know, just to savor the moment and to enjoy the journey, and to love the process as much as the end goal. So I've made as much money as I need to make. I pay myself a salary. You know, it's not a massive salary. I pay myself just over £10,000 a month. That salary is not going to go up. It's not going to go down. If I have a really good year in property or a really bad year, I'm still going to get paid that money. I have an education company. I don't take any money out of that. That is purely a passion mission project. So for me, yes, I want to grow and I want to be the best version of myself that I can be, to be able to be a role model and inspire my kids and others. But I also think it's important to remind yourself just to be grateful for the day at hand, you know.
Love it. Thank you very much for that. And one last question is about your family. Now, you have 3 kids. What are the names, if I can ask?
Yeah, Ruby, Luke, and Jessica.
Okay. How do you feel being a dad?
Oh man, it's the best. It's the best. Being a dad, yeah, it's honestly, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, we've just had our 3rd about 6 weeks ago now, and I love it. Absolutely. I mean, I can't even describe it. I would just say, you know, it is way more important to me than my property portfolio. You know, because property is just bricks and mortar. You know, It hasn't got a soul. Whereas people, I mean, the reason property is great is because it can give you an income so that you can then spend time with family. And I think it's important that people remember why they got into what they're doing in the first place. And also, remember, you don't need a lot of money to live a really good life. The best things in life are actually free. But if you haven't got the time to enjoy them, then they may as well cost the earth.
Yeah, correct. Thank you very much, Samuel. I can see a change in the tone of your voice when I touched on the family point. And we're all humans. That's the beauty. When you talk about business, you're very passionate, very excited. And when you talk about family, you got introspective suddenly. So I love that one. Thank you very much for being transparent. Okay, Samuel, thank you so much for this interview. And if people are watching this video, just comment below, comment any questions you want, and then we can answer right after. Thank you, Samuel. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.
Great. Can I just say, well, great to see you doing so well. And honestly, keep up the good work. And I'm just really glad, because I remember meeting a few years back and wrote in your book and stuff, but to see what you've done and what you've achieved, keep doing it and keep inspiring people and spreading the positivity.
Thank you. I will. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, just click subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any video, and I'll see you for the next interview. Bye-bye.